Let's start today's video with the most known world leader in the history. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889 in Braunau, a small town in what is today known as Austria. He wanted to be an artist, but he was rejected from Vienna's Academy of Fine Arts. During this time, Hitler became interested in politics. He developed many ideas that would be implemented to Nazi movement. Hitler was serving in World War I and won 2 decorations for bravery, including the Iron Cross First Class. He was also wounded twice. While he was recovering in the hospital near Berlin, the news arrived about Germany being defeated in the World War I. He attributed the defeat because of the traitors in their own country. Later he joined German Workers' Party. Main ideology of this party was to unite the working people of Germany with a German nationalism. Hitler had amazing oratory skills as well as charisma to successfully lead the propaganda movement. In 1920 he left the army and was in charge of propaganda for the party. The newly renamed National Socialist German Workers' Party adopted a version of the ancient symbol as its emblem. Printed in a white circle on a red background, Hitler's swastika would take on terrifying symbolic power in the years to come. During this time, he met Ernst Röhm, who was SA leader. Hitler used SA to attack his opponents and to protect party meetings. On the evening of November 8, 1923, members of the SA and others forced their way into a large beer hall where another right-wing leader was addressing the crowd. Wielding a revolver, Hitler proclaimed the beginning of a national revolution and led marchers to the center of Munich, where they got into a gunfight with police. Even though it failed spectacularly, the beer hall putsch established Hitler as a national figure, and, in the eyes of many, a hero of right-wing nationalism. Hitler was tried for treason and was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he only served 9 months. During this time he started writing a book called Mein Kampf for My Struggle. The first volume of this book was published in 1925. With Hitler's rise to power, the book became a bestseller and was the most sold book after the Bible. Obsessed with race and the idea of ethnic purity, Hitler saw a natural order that placed the so-called Aryan race at the top. For him, the unity of the folk, the German people, would find its truest incarnation not in democratic or parliamentary government, but in one supreme leader, or Führer. Over the next few years, Hitler laid low and worked on reorganizing and reshaping the Nazi Party. He established the Hitler Youth to organize youngsters, and created the SS as a more reliable alternative to the SA. On September 15, 1935, passage of the Nuremberg laws deprived Jews of German citizenship, and barred them from marrying or having relations with persons of German or related blood. Though the Nazis attempted to downplay its persecution of Jews in order to placate the international community during the 1936 Berlin Olympics, in which German Jewish athletes were not allowed to compete, additional decrees over the next few years disenfranchised Jews and took away their political and civil rights. In addition to its pervasive anti-Semitism, Hitler's government also sought to establish the cultural dominance of Nazism by burning books, forcing newspapers out of business, using radio and movies for propaganda purposes, and forcing teachers throughout Germany's educational system to join the party. Once he confirmed the alliance with Italy in the so-called Pact of Steel in May 1939, Hitler then signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. On September 1, 1939, Nazi troops invaded Poland, finally prompting Britain and France to declare war on Germany. After ordering the occupation of Norway and Denmark in April 1940, Hitler adopted a plan proposed by one of his generals to attack France through the Ardennes Forest. The Blitzkrieg, Lightning War, attack began on May 10. Holland quickly surrendered, followed by Belgium. German troops made it all the way to the English Channel, forcing British and French forces to evacuate en masse from Dunkirk in late May. On June 22, France was forced to sign an armistice with Germany. After the attack on Pearl Harbor that December, the United States declared war on Japan, and Germany's alliance with Japan demanded that Hitler declare war on the United States as well. At that point in the conflict, Hitler shifted his central strategy to focus on breaking the alliance of his main opponents, Britain, the United States and the Soviet Union, by forcing one of them to make peace with him. Within a few months of the successful Allied invasion of Normandy in June 1944, the Allies had begun liberating cities across Europe. That December, Hitler attempted to direct another offensive through the Ardennes, trying to split British and American forces. But after January 1945, he holed up in a bunker beneath the Chancellery in Berlin. With Soviet forces closing in, Hitler made plans for a last-ditch resistance before finally abandoning that plan. At midnight on the night of April 28 to 29, Hitler married Eva Braun in the Berlin bunker. After dictating his political testament, Hitler shot himself in his suite on April 30. Eva Braun took poison. Their bodies were burned according to Hitler's instructions. With Soviet troops occupying Berlin, Germany surrendered unconditionally on all fronts on May 7, 1945, bringing the war in Europe to a close. In the end, Hitler's planned thousand-year Reich lasted just over 12 years, but wreaked unfathomable destruction and devastation during that time, forever transforming the history of Germany, Europe and the world.